When the Sims 2 base game was released in 2004 with its 3 neighborhoods, Pleasantview immediately became the most popular one, and for a good reason. But nothing can be perfect, and Pleasantview is not short on downsides. In this video I'll discuss 4 things that I love about this neighborhood and 4 more that I absolutely hate. Part 1. Love. 1. Storyline. Help! Help! What are you doing in here again?
Nothing. Just looking for some information.
What kind of information, may I ask?
It's our neighbor, Mortimer Goth. Says his first wife was abducted by aliens.
What?
Is he mad?
Far from being the most realistic, the story of Bella Goth's alien abduction is definitely the most iconic in the whole Sims franchise. The players still speculate who is behind Bella's disappearance, making up the most fascinating explanations, but one is always true: this story cannot leave you cold. And the other, smaller storylines, though not as iconic but are still very much recognizable and tempting to explore. Will the Pleasant save their marriage? Will Cassandra marry the local womanizer? Will the young Brooks escape their genetic destiny? Every question is simply asking you to return to Pleasantview over and over again. 2. Charismatic characters.
This year I taught Bo how to walk. I'm so exhausted. It's time to relax.
And Brandy Broke is just one example. Every character in Pleasantview is unique in their own way. Even if sometimes their personality points are the same, their biographies make them stand out. For example, Alexander Goth, who's sharing his personality with Mortimer, will turn out a lot more open towards modern technology and new ideas because of his fear of missing out. Or let's take Dustin and Dirk, who have opposite living strategies despite both being fortune sims. One simply can't help growing attached to every Pleasantview resident and will inevitably treat them like real people. 3. Good-looking sims.
There's a phone in there.
I knew I moved to the right neighborhood. This one needs to wash her hair though.
And it's true, Pleasantview's got the hottest ladies Don's ever seen. And the male sims, including Don himself, are just as good as the females. If you enjoy making babies in The Sims 2, you can be sure that you won't end up with some ugly ones. Unless your sim makes these babies with a townie, of course. In Pleasantview you can also pick any hairstyle or makeup for the playable sims and they will always look decent or above. Well, almost always. The Pleasantview sims' good looks are of great help when you want to pair up somebody that you never did before, like Mary Sue and Dawn, for example. The result will be good and you'll have nothing to worry about. 4. Beautiful sights.
It's so beautiful. Pleasantview is so beautiful.
Not where I live.
Don't be a pessimist. You can see the condo district from your window. Those are so fashionable.
I guess so.
Even Dustin can't deny it. Pleasantview is beautiful, even in an unmodded game. The hills, the bridge, the lake. The layout is pretty efficient and realistic too. There are visible distinctions between the districts. The palm trees only grow in the condo district and near the lake. The trailer park is boring and plain, and the central and the oldest part of the neighborhood certainly gives off the old money vibe. If you decide to build something in Pleasantview yourself, the existing houses can serve you both as inspiration and direction. And still, as I said, nothing can be perfect. Part 2. Hate. 1. Plot holes and timeline mess. Was it quiet and mysterious Cassandra who decided to shake her booty at the local nightclub? Or a superficial womanizer Dawn suddenly stopped judging a book by its cover? The place and the circumstances of their most unrealistic relationship are so obscure that can only compare to the plot hole connected to Mary Sue's job. This supposedly workaholic woman started her career when her daughters were only toddlers, and is only level 2 when they are teenagers and she herself is close to her retirement. And what about Mary Sue's husband, Daniel, who started his affair with the maid when Angela and Lilith started school, but finally laid his hands on Kaylin almost 10 years after that while being a romance sim? And let's not forget that both Mary Sue and Daniel are close to becoming elders, while Mary Sue's parents have just become elders themselves. I don't want to spend the rest of this video talking about other occasions of this timeline mess. I'll only say that this is something that I hate the most. Why do the players have to make, download and install the clean template for Pleasantview when Maxis could have simply hired someone to check the Sims' memories and photo albums? 2. Characters ruined by the expansion packs.
Hey Dad, you haven't been painting that much lately. Is everything okay? Painting? Why should I paint? My hobby is nature.
My hobby is nature.
Yes, I know it's not a base game problem, but again, why didn't anyone from Maxis bother to check if their auto-hobby prescribing system worked for the Sims that were made before free time? Why do I get the pop-up saying, for example, that Mary Sue's one true hobby is music and dance, when her bio literally says it's pottery, which makes her an arts and crafts sim? Or Darren Dreamer, whose whole story is based on his want to become an artist, suddenly gets nature's his hobby. Why are there so many nature sims in Pleasantview? Can anyone picture Dina Caliente, an extremely lazy sim who wants to have a luxurious life, weeding her garden or fishing? And it's the same thing with nightlife and the chemistry system, which I believe is 100% random. Don Lothario can suddenly be turned on by grey hair and fatness and turned off by red hair, when all his lovers are young and slim and one of them is a redhead. Or shy and neat Cassandra is now obsessed with underwear and stink, but repulsed by hard workers when her father made a fortune for the family while being one. 3. Good-looking Sims, but... What are you thinking about, Nina? You seem so distant today.
It's just, I can't fall in love with anyone in this neighborhood. All the men look the same.
And Nina's got the point. Neighbors look like relatives. If we put the Pleasantview playable male Sims in a line next to each other, we can already see that they all look kind of similar. But what if we make them all the same age, take off their glasses and shave them? Voila! Herb looks like a light-skinned version of Dawn, Daniel and Darren could be brothers if it wasn't for the colors, and Mortimer and John almost look like twins. And it isn't much better with the female Sims. Have you noticed that Cassandra Goth and Kaylin Langerak the maid look very much alike, especially when given the same makeover? Of course, I could overlook all that. I could say that there are not so many attractive face templates to choose from, but... relatives look like neighbors.
Mom! Mom!
What is it, Lilith?
Did you in fact adopt me and Angela?
One glance into the mirror and Lilith realized the terrifying truth. She and her sister look nothing like their parents. Take away Daniel's red hair and green eyes and... who are these girls and what are they doing in this house? Moreover, the whole creation of Angela and Lilith wouldn't be possible in an unmodded game, because they were bound to inherit Mary Sue's dominant hair and eye colors. And the Pleasant twins are not the only example. Why doesn't Alexander Goth resemble his parents or sister? And where do Dustin's broad jawline and small eyes come from, when neither Brandy nor Skip have these features? I ask too much, I think. 4. Real estate problems.
And this is our new house.
Come on, John, you must be kidding. My grandma had a similar house 70 years ago.
Well, it's not that we have much choice.
Oh yeah, out of the 9 starter houses available for purchasing in Pleasantview, 3 are completely unfunctional. 50 Middle Lane, 190 Main Street and 30 Lakeside Drive all have exactly the same problem. You can't fit a double bed in either of their 2 bedrooms. Unless you want your Sims to live in the trailer park next to the Brooks, there are only 3 houses for a couple of Sims, and only 2 if they have children. 225 Main Street, where the Burbs now live, and 95 Woodland Drive, which I gave to the oldies. If you don't place any apartment lots in Pleasantview or don't build anything yourself, Dustin, Dirk and the Pleasant girls will all have to move to the trailer park when they grow up, or to this tiny hut in the woods, which again is too small for a double bed. However, the worst part is, even if these teenagers go on living with their parents in hopes of getting a better house later, their choice will still be limited to 150, 170 and 190 Sim Lane, because this house to the left of the Goth mansion, guess what, doesn't have enough room for a double bed. As for 113 Right Way and 210 Right Way, they are super expensive and nearly impossible to play in because of their unreasonably large size. Love it or hate it, but Pleasantview was undoubtedly a very big deal back in 2004. And it still is, with some of the Sims 2 features and game mechanics being unmatched even today. I can only thank those inspired people who created this game and this neighborhood that I still play almost 20 years later.